Hello. Good evening, everybody, to episode 53 of our Sunday night live chat. And we're a bit thin on the ground this week. Hopefully, Bryan will be here soon. But we've had a few. Some of the guys are a little bit busy this weekend, so a bit of a trimmed down version. That all being said, good evening to Laz from Lazi Collectables. Good evening to Gary from Gremlin's Modeling Mayhem.
Evening all.
And good evening to everybody, our regulars, taverners, benefactors, friends, Romans, countrymen in the live chat. Hopefully Bryan will be here soon. Moz has got a show. Luke is tied up, not literally, but he's busy this weekend. Who else we missing? Phil's got work to do on a caravan, I believe. So yeah, it's just us 3/4 possibly this weekend. So that's where we're at. Fortunately, Gary attended the Swag Live event with us, so we can hopefully give you some feedback from that. Laz was up the weekend before. The first time that we've actually physically met up, travelled over from Romania. We've got a bit of a transport discussion we could have about that. It was quite funny and expensive at the same time for Laz, bless him. And we're also going to be touching on, which I hope will spark some chat talking about branding. So what we'll kick off with is give my voice a rest. We'll kick off with what the boys have been doing this week, what I've been playing about with, and then we'll take it from there. So, Laz, you were here first. Do you want to show the vehicles you've been doing, my friend?
Yes. Good evening, everyone, again. And this is the one I restored this week. And I'm quite happy with the new paint. As you can see, it's nice and shiny. And I just realized that I put those Astro stickers on as well. I think they look really good. So it's a flatbed, Dinky Toys, Folsom flatbed. So that's done. And that's going to be possibly next week's video. And this is not quite complete yet, but I just put it on the base to rest. Needs the stickers and obviously put the in. And it will have 2 stickers as well, one on the door and one at the back. So that's going to be done, all the details done. And I'll see if I can put some registration plates as well. That is what I've been doing this week. I'm really happy with this one. Finally, I find the paints I was looking for. So yeah, these 2 will be possibly next 2 weeks video.
Beautiful. The paint that we were saying earlier on how well that paint's come up that you found.
Thank you, John. It's a beautiful, Les. Just like yourself.
Have you got kind of that spray to hand, Laz, what you're using there?
1 sec.
I know that for those that don't know, Laz has problems getting hold of a lot of the materials that we take for granted. So he's had to source another brand of paint What he's using now?
That's the one. It's a really good quality one. And this is from like Home Depot or Harfords in England. So it's like a DIY store. And good price and really good quality. And it dries so it says actually that you can actually work on the stuff you painted with in 2 hours. So it's really quick. Really quick.
And do they do quite a range?
Yeah, they have very nice colors as well. As you can see, this one, the black. No, it's actually anthracite gray.
Oh, okay.
So it's
I
got
like
this.
the idea of spraying the top. Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got this, so you know which color is which can.
Yeah.
So it's really good. And they have some nice vintage colors as well, like 60s, which I like for all the dinkies and corgis.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm pleased with this one. Just switch off the other light. So yeah, that's me, I think.
Excellent. Well, I know, like myself, you tend to spray outside when the weather's half decent. Yeah. Because I'm living in your apartment. Yeah, but that's come out really nice, that has, mate.
Thank you.
Well done, you stuff.
Can't wait to put it tomorrow.
Gary?
Yep. Evening.
Good evening, mate.
I'm just going to switch camera so you can actually look down onto the bench. I can get the right camera.
Yeah, we're still picking up your back audio, Gary.
Pardon?
Still picking up your back audio.
Hang on, let's just. Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah. So if you want to bring me up big, you can.
Yeah.
Right. As I was saying, I started these at last weekend at the meet at SWAD at the show. Still needs more work done on touch-ups, bits and pieces, but basically the figures are painted. If I bring them up a bit closer to the camera. Whoops, wrong way. Try not to bleach them out.
They look brilliant, they do, mate.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm going to have to get some brass pin to drill into the feet so I can put them onto the base so they stand up. And I've also been working on this naval version of the Phantom. Bring that a bit closer.
Nice.
Cockpit. You can see the cockpit there. Been a bit tight this week after all the driving last weekend. So what I've done is done what I've done. I've not really been in the mood at times.
Yeah. Well done, mate. They look superb, they do. Myself, I've in between. I'm tucking. Excuse the throat. I'm tucking one of these little rescue helicopters to pieces from Matchbox for this month's challenge. I have managed to do a main rotor to do a replacement blade. So that's my project for this week. Get that done in time for the challenge. We'll include some of the chat this week because let me just take myself off the big screen. I think the chat's going to play the 4th and 5th and 6th man this week. I remember Mr. Softy Ice Cream Van coming around when I was young. Mum always said when the jingle sounded, that meant he had run out of ice cream. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? As John's saying, very nice chaps. So thank you for that. So we'll go back and firstly Lazi's visit. So Laz came over from Romania, Hungary, you name it, he'd probably travelled through every European country by the time he got here. It felt like it, didn't it, mate? What I will do is I'll just see if I can share a screen of some images that I've got. That just bear with me 2 secs, guys. Of the event and a with it. So let's minimize this. So just to kind of prove that he did turn up. Back to here. Share window.
No worries, Luke.
Yeah, there we go. So there's me and Laz outside the range down Burton-on-Trent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's get this down into single figures just to blow these up a bit. And we had our best chip shop visit to Fridays. Yeah. Obviously, who the dog's named after. My dog's named after the chip shop. So best chips and fish and chips they've ever had on it, mate.
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah.
And then if we we'll go through some of these images from the Saturday. Oh, actually, whilst do
you want to drop that comment, PJ? Open up the picture a bit more, because it's partly across the picture.
Yeah, just we got. Did I hear somebody else pop on one? Yes, we did. We've got Bryan. Yay!
Evening, Bryan.
Just take Ian's comment off. Go back to the share. Yeah, so that can we still see that now? The images again?
We'll see that.
Yeah, and it was also joined by on the same day.
Oh, that was Sunday. That was Sunday.
Yeah, on the Saturday. Was met by JB and Luke and his lad Owen. So there's the 4 of us outside DSMC headquarters. We had a great chat, meet up. A few of us went for lunch as well. I'm so grateful that the boys came down. Hell of a trip for Laz. We'll talk about the train station visit in a moment. The issues that caused. But then we went on to the SWAT event. Delighted that Gary and John, I love you, John, were able to get up. Gary was kind enough to bring John up. But you can just see stretching out in the background behind Gary are all the boxes of Martin's stuff that we were selling on his behalf. And you can see at the very end there is Andy Bourne, who brought some biscuits up as well. So I'm having a walk round. That was the diorama that Gary has set up for us, kindly set up, and a couple of items that we were trying to sell for
Martin's charity.
Oh no, it was his name's gone. Come back to me in a minute.
Was it Neil?
It's the guy that does all the lorries.
Was it Neil, PJ?
Oh,
Nigel Bond. Nigel.
It began with M.
Yeah. We've got these two lorries that are on the bench were commissioned for Martin. They were that good that we put a reserve price on them, and it wasn't met. So we've got a reserve price of £50 each. If anybody wants to make an offer on them, they are exceptional models, and any money that we raise for either or both will go to the fund. So we did try. We had some interest, but unfortunately we couldn't sell them, so we kept them back. We were able to fire up the iPad and have the DSMC Facebook group on there.
That's your friend, Carl.
Yeah, that's Carl, who runs the local sweet shop, who was a co-host and helped me get the event going. So although he's got a sweet shop, he sells brand new corgis, etc. as well.
Sweet shop / vintage. Yes.
Vintage vinyl as well. He does. It was great. We had Ash was there from Northrax Wargaming that started to generate some interest. Somebody put on the Facebook page there wasn't a lot of interest. Well, some of these photos were took when we first met up. We're having problems getting on. Are you on, Bryan?
I'm here.
There. You back? Yeah. Yeah. So it was great to see Ash down there. He was really chuffed with it, and he's going to do a bit more and bring some stock with him next time we come down. So our thanks to Ash and John and Andy from Northrax for showing out. Go back to the box. We had a couple of traders there that were selling toys and games in general. So it was just comfortably fit in the town hall out with tables. Another model kit builder who was
that's Colin's dad, wasn't it?
Yeah. Who was Carl's dad. Yeah.
Carl's.
It runs a sweet shop, yeah, and his mum, bless her, was on the tea and coffee for us. Was also joined by my mate Sabine, who does all things kind of gothic-y and a bit of 3D printing. Lovely lady. All My Witchy Ways Facebook group is called. There's our mate Andy from Andy's Garage Diecast, who brought up some of his models and stuff that he was selling, and he brought some decals with him. There's one of the signs. We're having a DSMC sign made for next time. There's Gary's Blackbird. Beautiful model. Beautiful model. So that is a kind of quick.
Excuse the mug.
Yeah, they were all the boxes.
There were 20 of them in total.
Yeah, I think Bryan said we cleared out 6 boxes of stuff.
7 in the end.
7 was it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Hats off to Bryan. Worked his little tail off to sell stuff. And there was some good stories because one I think it's that actual bloke with his son, wasn't it, Bryan, that's in front of Luke.
Yeah, effectively. That guy that you can see with his lad, that lad is going through a box of models of yesteryear because he picked out a couple of lorries because he was mad on lorries, and his dad said he's just started painting them. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, if you pull out a few of those lorries, I said, if you go over to that box of models of yesteryear, I said, anything you want out of there, you can add to your box for free. So his dad ended up spending 40 quid on these models, and they were £2 a pop. So he ended up with 80 models. Sorry, 20 models. And he must have picked out maybe half a dozen models of yesteryear that he fancied as well. And I just thought that was, if nothing else that day, it would have made Martin smile to think that there was a lad following in his footsteps, utilising some of the stuff that he collected over the years.
Yeah.
Which was great. We often wonder, is it just, our age bracket that does restoring and collecting? And this lad was well keen, especially on trucks as well.
Yeah, that's it. It was trucks. And as his dad said, the trouble is, because everybody thinks that every single dinky and every single corgi is worth an absolute fortune, they've been put off doing it because they couldn't afford to buy the models to get going. But hopefully them buying sort of 20 will give him the kickstart that he needs.
Yeah. Here's the team that, so we've got John there as well. John Atwell. We love you, John.
We love you, John.
Myself, Andy, Luke, Owen, Bryan, and of course Gary. And John felt very small. Apparently, not that small, John.
Mm.
There we go. And there's Carl with us as well.
Yeah.
And,
can I just offer a word of warning, please, PJ?
Yeah.
If you're ever meeting up with Mr. Hatwell, please be aware he is the Jeremy Clarkson of the wheel walker world. So you've got to be very careful around him because he will run you over.
It isn't just any prisoners.
Yeah.
We lost somebody. No, just 4 of us.
Was it him that caught you back of your leg then, Bryan?
No, that was me being a silly bugger.
Right.
Going back behind the tables, there must have been a little bit of jagged stuff on one of the legs.
Right.
But Carl's mum was running around like Florence Nightingale for me, which was nice. As did yourself, Gary, with the first aid kit. The trouble is with these blood thinners, you've only got to nick yourself, and it looks like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I've just seen Luke. Apologies, we had them photos up. We saw a picture of Luke's in the chat. No worries, mate. We'll see you soon. You're obviously going to get a ribbon next time I see you. So that was SWAT. And just to round that out, we will hopefully be doing it again. A second one this year. We haven't decided on a date yet, but there's a lot of things that we found out that went really well. A few things we've thought about since then. Mainly food, I think, was one of the big things. Like, everybody was starving by the time we'd done. But it was good that I think that one of the things that was most pleased about that our crew got to meet each other. That that this is something that we've now started to do more often. That's started to take off in the last 2 or 3 years, because we never saw each other for the first 4, only on video. So we've all become part of the extended family. Even Laz went down to see my mum and dad, didn't you, mate? So they were thrilled when they met Laz. That was good. And sorry, I was just to say, to round it out, the total now, or after the event, was £1,015 for Martin's charity, which is, I think, beyond wildest expectations, really. So I don't keep saying thank you, but I can't say thank you enough half the time. Thank you to people that have contributed directly to his charity. Thank you to everybody that's purchased models. Left kind words. The fund is now closed. The charity is now closed, unless we get anything that crops up in the next couple of weeks. There are a couple of items that we need to look at, but they will be added.
The food next time.
Yeah. So, Gary, you've Bryan chance to settle yourself down. Your thoughts about the whole thing? How did you feel it went?
Having been to plastic shows, a few of them, locally and nationally, for a first event, it seemed that on sort of face value, it went reasonably well. Slightly hindsight, I was sort of tend to be stuck behind the table most of the afternoon, sort of morning and afternoon painting. I did have a little bit of a walk around, and it was quite a varied selection of wares, both on display and for sale.
Yeah, absolutely. And your painting did get some interest as well from some of the young lads, didn't they?
I think I got more interested on the diorama than actually what I was actually physically painting, because they were looking at it, and I did keep saying, "Can you see the photographer?" Because one of the little figures is actually a little man photographer taking a picture of the crew, and those figures are about 1 inch tall, sort of thing. So they're looking around. Oh yeah, I didn't see that, sort of thing. So it got the kids' interest, sort of thing. So they were closely looking at things properly and sort of getting closer instead of sort of standing back a bit.
Bryan?
Yeah, I think for a group of guys that have never run one before, I think it pretty much, straight out the box, it couldn't have gone much better, really. I mean, I think on the actual selling side of things, I think we did just over £300 out of Martin's boxes, which was fantastic. Things that might have done different, like you say, because obviously we got there very early. In my head, I thought we would get the stuff in there. They'd close the doors. We'd go and grab a bite of breakfast, and then open at 9 or 10 or whatever. But because they were letting people in straight away, we were on it from the time that we started to the time that we stopped, which was about 2 o'clock. So in that respect, that was one aspect of it. I think possibly better signage, and I don't mean about the event. I mean, I know we laminated some bits and pieces, but for your bits, your resin bits, I think a price list would have been good. A breakdown of the other parts that were available would have been good. And I say it was part of it. This was my fault, because obviously we were a little bit stretched by the time we got there. Having some leaflets to hand out about joining the DSMC and stuff would have been good. I had them in the van but forgot to bring them in. Not leaving decals behind would have been a good idea. But yeah, I mean, I reckon I did a kind of sort of mental arithmetic during the course of the day, and I reckon we had between 200 and 250 people in during the course of the day, which for the first time previously not advertised, I think was pretty much outstanding, really. And lots of people said, are you going to do this again? So hopefully it can only go from strength to strength. A few more stalls would have been good. Obviously we were limited by space, but obviously next time we won't have the quantity of Martin's stuff that we had this time round. Just a little bit more preparation, really. Yeah.
But as I say, it's the first one, Bryan, so we're going to have TV.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You don't very few things like that hit the ground running. but I think you could call it an unqualified success.
Yeah, I know that Cole was delighted. I was delighted. Big thanks to Cole for playing middleman between us and the town hall. Town hall for free. So that was a bonus, because usually it's £35 an hour. So
Yeah.
we can do this twice a year, and that's, to get us off the ground. Couldn't argue. I couldn't be happier. From where we were 6 years ago to where we are now, with the meetups, doing our first event, doing our trips out to the toy fairs, things like that. We've come on leaps and bounds. So massive thanks to everybody who got involved and supported it. We've raised the money. I'm not saying we put Martin's charity to bed. Anybody wants to carry on donating, please do so. £1,000 is more than I thought we were going to get. So delighted with that, and we will do a Martin Dares event next February, which will be a tribute build. We're going to do one for, not on the same scale, but the Corgi one will be. We'll give Corgi Board a shout out to that one. Sorry, the voice is about to go. I can feel it coming. So I'm going to shut up for a minute and ask you a question, and we can. The question. Settle down. If anybody's got any questions about SWAD, the event, wants to take part next time we do it, by all means, drop us a line, and we'll answer whatever questions we can, either here or on the Facebook group, whatever you want to do.
The other side of that, PJ, as well, if anyone else wants to get involved or wants to bring some stuff to sell, just contact us and we'll try and get it sorted.
It'd be nice if we could get down to a manageable amount of boxes.
Yeah.
I am going to try and do sell some of them on Vinted, some of the better ones. Our agreement was, which I've agreed to with Verna, having spoke to her, that the cut-off point was March the 31st, and everything else now will go towards the DSMC fund, which Martin would have liked to, share with the charity as well. So it's a bit of income for us. I see Nigel's in the chat. Nigel, good to see you, mate. Oh, the little lad was Nigel's nephew.
Yes.
Bryan.
Oh, fantastic.
That was good.
He's mad on trucks because he goes in my model room as often as he can. Martin sent him a Land Rover Defender to restore with myself. So that's the message.
Wonderful. It's come full circle then. That's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Imagine trucks because he goes into my model room as often as he can. Martin sent him a Land Rover Defender to restore with myself. Well, that's excellent. We tried to sell the two units, Nigel. I did put a reserve on it. We had a bit of interest, but unfortunately, at this time we couldn't sell them. But I'll have a word with you offline about that and see how you want us to progress it. Right. So part 2 of this is our chat. What we're going to talk about. What do you want to talk about? Right. So we're going to be talking about brand loyalty this week. And now it could spark off no conversation, an extended conversation. We don't know where this will go, as much as we never know how fast all these things will go. So let's get into it. Laz, are you loyal to specific brands, or do you base on the model itself?
I was thinking about this before the chat. You see, I think it's a very difficult question because it can be so many factors. Like, for example, the size. Because I do is 60s, regular wheels in 164, but in 1 to 36 or 1 to 43, I like corgi toys more than I do Matchbox king size cars. You see, because corgi toys like this one, if anyone haven't seen it, it's fantastic. This one, so it's a lot nicer than a Matchbox king size anything really. Can be also era, like 50s, 60s I like dinky toys, and then 60s, late 60s, early 70s I like corgi toys, and late 70s I do like Matchbox king size. But you see, so I think I'm loyal to Matchbox regular wheels, but I'm also really a fan of the corgi toys, you see. So, plus there are a lot of other model companies, ERTL, EMPs, and Lost Stars, they're all nice. So it's a very difficult question to be loyal to a brand. But I think some people, they see a Diecast, they say, oh, it's a nice Matchbox. Because Matchbox is the most known brand in the Diecast world.
Yeah.
So some people just say, oh, I have a couple of boxes, and half of them are dinkies, half of them are Hot Wheels or Yorkies. They're not even Matchboxes, but they say, I've got a few Matchboxes, you see. So I think most of the people are loyal to Matchbox. But yeah. That's it.
I think Laz is bang on with that because it's very similar with plastic. People generally will say, I've got an Airfix kit. Well, it probably isn't. It's possibly a Revell kit, or it's a Hasegawa, or a Meng or something like that. But because Airfix is the known brand, they refer to it as an Airfix model. And Matchbox is exactly the same. For me, the one that I'm most interested in is the original Matchbox, without question. But I do love the budgie toys as well. I've got a fair few corgis, I've got a fair few dinkies, but for brand loyalty with Diecast, it would be Matchbox, and with brand loyalty with plastic, it would be Airfix for me.
Yeah. Gary?
Trying not to do an Alice down the rabbit hole into Wonderland, because plastic is such a big area, because they're probably past, stroke, present, and sort of new starters. There's probably over 100 manufacturers since plastic models have been around since the just after the war. With I think the first sort of companies were about 1947. If Moz was here, he'd probably correct me. But on a personal level, yes, I am primarily an Airfix builder because ease of access to get hold of them. As I say, as a child, I started off with Airfix and Matchbox because they were the ones regularly available. I have built American brands like Monogram in the past, which was an interesting one, which was a bit of a left field one. My parents got me for one Christmas. I have built a couple of other companies. I can't remember a tank and a ship in the past as a teenager, but I mainly stuck with that. Now, since getting back into the hobby, I have widened my brands that sort of above me. the figures are shown is from a Ukrainian company called ICM. And consider what's going on without getting political in the Ukraine at the moment. They are still bringing out new tools on a regular basis, which they need to be applauded for. I have built Revel. Yes, it can be hit and miss. Revel hit and miss because Revel are not always honest with how old the plastic is in the. Well, I won't say the plastic, the design of the plastic in the box is. They famously brought out a 50th anniversary of a Harrier in 48, and the kit was actually 50 years old.
Right.
By design. But as I was saying, there are, you talked about, like Bryan says, there's, as he called it, Meng, it's actually pronounced Mong. I know, it's crazy. There's as I say, Hasegawa has slowed down a bit, but they do a lot of their stuff does turn up in other companies' boxings like Hobby 2000 stuff like that. So you can actually, and they're quite decent kits if you actually know what's actually in the box, if you do your research. But as I say, with plastic, it's going to be mainly Airfix because, as I say, it's the home brand. Like Revel is Germany, Tamiya and Hasegawa is Japan, Mong, Hobby Boss, a few others are Chinese manufacturers.
Yeah, you got Heller in France, you got Mini Art, haven't you? You've got there's lots out there.
Yeah, Mini Art's Czechoslovakia. You got Armour Hobby, which is Polish. Edward's Czech.
Yeah.
Then you got I think it's PM Models, which is Turkish, and they can be interesting. They are some of their stuff is very, very old.
Yeah.
In America, you got AMT and Monogram.
AMT, MPC. You've also got a Revel America to be distinct from Revel Germany.
But it's funny how if you speak to plastic modelers that they want, maybe the occasional plastic modeler, if they've got a kit, it's an Airfix kit, even if it is a Mong or a Tacom or a whatever.
Tacom.
Generally speaking, they just refer to it as, oh, I've got a plastic Airfix kit.
Yeah. I think apart from South America and Africa, there are manufacturers in every other continent or geographical area. But I mean,
in fairness,
Kotar is in New Zealand, so that covers that covers Oceania.
In fairness, though, Gary, the plastic model kits made in other countries, Airfix was kind of almost the gold standard, wasn't it? And everything else was a little bit, other than your Tamiyas, was a little bit.
I would say Tamiya, if you could sort of change your scale slightly, Tamiya's were your A+, and Airfix was your A.
But now these other countries, their kits are getting better and better and better. I mean, if you got a sort of Russian kit from the 60s, you'd spend more time adding bits to it than you would, or fixing the bits that were included, than you would do making the kit. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, from my point of view, although I'm going to be doing a couple of YouTube videos shortly, if you approach it from the YouTube angle, well, want to a better phrase, if you want to get something out fairly quickly, Matchbox are the way to go. You know, if you want to do a fairly simple one coat model, you know, and get a few and build up your back catalogue or build up a catalogue of builds. Matchbox are the way to go. That being said, from the 1/64 scale, I do like, and it's thanks to Laz, I do like the measurettes because their build quality is superb. Yeah, the chassis design on them original measurettes was a brilliant design, so simple but so effective, and from a restorer's view, easy to take apart and put back together. They were really good. My go-to is always going to be but then say my go-to. I like to go to 143 scale. So if I'm going to do 143 scale, it's going to be Dinky, it's going to be Corgi, primarily because I like to do my themed vehicles. You know, the Jerry Anderson stuff, things like that. And I like to do them on a bigger scale. So, yeah, when I first got going, Matchbox, never heard of Majorette until got to know Lazi a bit better. And he introduced me to them. So I like doing them now and again. But primarily Dinky and Corgi, I think, for me. Because it's the I think this comes on to the pretty much on to well, it doesn't go on to the next question, but it's part of the first question. Based on the model itself, yeah, I think mine's based on the theme more than anything else. So I'm not bound to a defined brand.
I think we're all very similar in the respect that if there's a particular vehicle we want,
yeah,
we'll go 164th, 143rd, 124th. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter whether it's Dinky, Corgi, CQ, Majorette, Matchbox, whoever makes it, if you want that car, that's the one you go for. So although you may have a brand loyalty to, let's just say, overall cars, but if there's, I mean, the two vehicles that I'm after at the moment are a Vauxhall Viva, either a State or a Magnum. And when I say Viva, I'm talking sort of early 70s Viva, so not the square one, the sort of slightly rounded off.
The one that had the side like the split grille with the V on the
that's the one, yeah.
The metal plate in the middle, yeah.
And a Riley Elf. And unfortunately, the only company that I know make a Riley Elf is Oxford Diecast, and they're tiny. So it's never say never. If there's a car you want, I think you just got to go for the size and manufacturer that's actually making it.
Yeah. And just on a side note from that, I know Martin got a lot of contributions and donations from people and his subscribers. If anybody wants to donate vehicles, please feel free. If you want to donate them to a particular person, you can send them to me and I'll send them out. Me and Laz have already got the post office reset up so that we can get parcels over to Laz, depending on what occurs in the employment world. Let's put it that way. But we've managed to. They were so a quick side story. Excuse me. Laz he did some major shopping when I was over here. And he'd got a 1.8 kilogram box of stuff ready to go back home. And the company that we dealt with, the delivery company, were the Romanian or Hungarian Laz.
I think he may have gone.
He's AFK for a minute.
Is AFK? Okay. I think they were Romanian. And they turned up they phoned me in broken English to say they were going to pick it up. When they said they were going to pick it up, in actual fact, they were an hour early. And this little guy, bless him, he could have been about 5'4" and about 10 stone wet through. And he says, you're 66? I said, yeah. Parcel. Right, okay. And he said, 1.8 kilo? Yeah. You weighed it? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then he gave me 2 little Easter eggs. Brought 2 little Easter eggs with him.
PJ, not trying to correct you, but was it not 18 kilograms?
I thought you said 48 at starting, but
18 kilograms, yeah, sorry.
There you go. Yeah, I thought it was 18.
Yeah, 180, yeah. And I said to this guy, like, there's the box. And he looked at the box. And he looked at me. And you know what them steps are like to get down. Oh, boy, did he struggle with a bloody box, like. But, yeah, so that went well, and they were very polite, on time. Could have gone better. So we got Laz sorted out. So yeah, if you want to donate, if anybody wants to donate anything, just let me know. You can use me as a point of contact, and even though we sold a lot of stuff at Martin's I can see how people get addicted to this, and after a couple of after we've done this a couple of times, if you want to carry on doing it, we'll have to build the stocks up somewhere. And
well, we've probably got
donations
enough
are
stock.
welcome.
We've probably got enough stock for at least 2 more, I'd say.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's when we start getting down to the broken parts.
That's your thing, isn't it? Then I think you have to be rational with your pricing. I mean, we were very cheap on the day, but I think that was purely down to the fact that the amount that we had, and obviously the constraints. I couldn't take it away. Obviously, I had to leave it with you, and I didn't want you to be overwhelmed with 20 odd boxes of it. But equally, in the not too distant future, there's going to be several boxes of stuff that I've bought over the years. So the next one we do, I will be bringing some stuff to get rid of, because invariably, I think all of us have done it. You buy a job lot for a car, and so you may end up with 10, 15 cars for the one car that you wanted. So you've got 14 cars that you're not particularly after. So, a bit of, and I don't want anyone to be in the position that we were after Martin when I go, because I mean, you were there, PJ. I don't think I've ever seen so much stuff in one person's garden as there was at Martin's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
All right. Question 2. Which brands do you trust most for quality, and why? Gary?
Right. Now, this can be subjective, and yes, every model company has their hits, but they also have their misses. Airfix have had a couple over the last year. The Stalwart had problems. Then you had what they call Jaguar Gate, where they didn't check the tooling right, and they advertised it as one particular variety of Jaguar. We'll talk about an aircraft when it actually turned out to be the French Jaguar A. So they had to take a massive hit and recall all the kits, apart from the ones that are but the ones that people didn't want to return, they least credited them, so they took a big hit. As I said before, Revel can be quite hit and miss, because, as I say, it can be a bit of a mystery box when you open it, because unless you do your research before you buy it, you could end up, you think it says new on the box, especially a brand new modeler, it says new on the box.
Yes,
but I just said about the Harrier, it could be 50-year-old tooling. Do you expect new people in the hobby to know about a thing called Scalemates, to have that open and doing their research in front of the shelf? Most youngsters, when they first start modeling, I like the look of that, a particular aircraft or a particular car or a particular tank, and they go, I want to build, I love that, and I'll build it. Then it's only when they get it home they find out how problematic it actually is because of its age and not being as honest as some companies could be.
Yeah.
I mean, Tamiya had the same thing. A few years ago, they released the Harrier, and that is an absolute nightmare to build.
Yes.
So even the gold standards can slip sometimes. So, I think, it's the same in all walks of life. Buyer beware. Like Gary says, do your research. I think it's slightly different with diecast because you get to see what you're buying because it's already made when you bought it. I trust Matchbox. I mean, I've got Matchbox that are donkey's years old that are as good as they were the day they left the factory. And I bought a few sort of more recently that were complete in box because they were ones that I was particularly after. Paid a bit more than I probably should have done for them, but having ones that were actually, original were very nice. But I'm not hung up to the extent that if I was currently the next DSMC event is any Matchbox. And I'm doing two currently. I'm doing the Ford Anglia, which I'm going to do in its original pale blue, and I'm doing the M3 World War II truck. I've just got the rubber tracks for it, so it went in the caustic yesterday, so it'll be sprayed sometime this week. So the two of them should be ready by the end of this week. Luckily, the screen in the Anglia that I got was very good, so it just needed a little bit of a clean. But yeah, I think the whole thing about the brands, I think it's quite difficult. It's quite different for diecast as opposed to plastic. I think the question is probably more applicable to plastic than it is to diecast.
I think from my end, it goes back to kind of last week when we were talking about scale. Because you can also say, well, which brand do you trust? Not trust. Which brand do you think you're going to get the most out of when you stripped it back for detail? Because as we were saying, with the more modern paints, you can do thinner coats and make details stand out more.
Yep.
So, hence, if you're getting up to the so just bring Laz back online. I think he's struggled with his phone. No, he's not quite there yet. Yes, now he is. 2 6. There we go.
And he's back.
Back, mate. Welcome back. Yeah. So if I want to do an higher detail, let's put it that way, a higher detailed car, I'm going to go for a Corgi or a Dinky. I like to see the door handles, like to see the indicators, like to see the boot latch, like to see bits and bobs on the car, even though they're molded into the body itself. Like,
I would say, PJ, the early Matchbox for detail takes some beating. They really do.
Yeah.
Once you've got them stripped, unfortunately, the paint that went on them didn't necessarily favour them. But once they're stripped, the actual detail on those little Matchbox cars are quite phenomenal.
Well, you say about the paint, Bryan, paint technology has moved on.
Oh, God, yeah.
Light years since then. If you think about it, they were using very heavy, probably lead-based.
Lead-based, yeah, absolutely.
Paints. And to get it to stick, it would have had to go on light treacle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hence why you probably find, as you say, when you strip the paint off, you're uncovering the original casting detail that was there that you don't see because it's just buried under.
It's like that Anglia, the little Anglia.
A 16th of an inch of paint.
Yeah, the Anglia, once it was stripped, the actual detail on the car was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I've tried to do it sympathetically, so I actually got. Hang on, I'll grab it. Back in a sec.
I'm just going to say while we're talking about who's got lots of kits, JB is saying, Hobby Time 2098 is your scale mates, is your friend for model kits. The amount of stuff that JB had got when the guys went down to see him, and I've been around there as well. Yeah,
Brian's jaw hit the floor and bounced back again like a cartoon character when he saw his back room.
Yeah, he got our boy JB. He's got some stuff. While Brian's just shut off screen.
Hobby Time put there. That's until we call around mine, Bryan.
Yeah. Which brand do you trust best for quality and why, Laz?
Say again, sorry, the question. Which
brands do you trust most for quality and why?
Corgi toys, I think.
Yeah.
Because they have the gadgets as well, you know, and they're really nicely detailed. I mean, the craftsmanship is really good. But I think all of the older ones, 60s, 70s, Dinkies were good as well, Matchbox as well. I don't like the new ones. They're really plasticky. Well, yeah, the 60s, 70s, Matchboxes, Corgi toys mainly. Some of the early Dinkies were really rough, I think. So they didn't have much details, you know. They just a plain car, really. No windows, you know, no interior, nothing. Yeah, I like the old stuff. Let's just say that I like the old stuff. I will come back. I need to take the dog down, and I'll be back.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the Anglia.
And
All
it's
nicely
blue.
painted.
I know it's camera. It looks a bit more purple. It's sort of purpley, but
it is. It's a very pale blue. It's like the old powder blue that you used to get on the Fords. Hang on,
and on the frog eyes.
There you go.
Was it the frog eyes sprites?
I mean, and I say you get up close and that detail, the little filler cap there.
Yeah.
It's so the glass cleaned up pretty well as well. So quite happy with that. Just got to do the base and do the detailing. Yeah, very happy with that one.
But as I was saying about if you think about it, back in the 60s, we had better engineers, we had better tool makers, we had better people, machinists.
Yeah.
Today, as I was saying, I trained as a machinist a bit as part of my college course. That's why I'm always better with a piece of metal than I'm a piece of wood.
Yeah,
sort of thing. But it's as I say, wood's craft, metal's engineering. We were building the real thing. Like you got the angular there. Matchbox could have gone to the factory and to Ford's factory at Dagenham where they built them and said, "Can we have a look at your production line?" And take pictures, took real time pictures. So that's how they're probably more accurate then.
Yeah. I remember part of an interview with you'll have to remind me of his name, Gary, the guy Airfix.
Dale Luckhurst.
Dale, that's it. Yeah. I posed a question on one of the live chats with him about the possibility of Airfix re-releasing some of the Ford models that they did in the sort of 60s and 70s, and the one thing that he said was that the licensing now from Ford is an absolute nightmare. Also, and I think when they did the what would have been the Opel Blitz and the Bedford van, when they reissued it, they didn't call it the Opel or the Bedford. They just called it a van, didn't they?
Yeah, but as you're saying, with those car kits, some of the molds were buggered about to make them hot rods. So you will not get...
I know the Capri was.
Capri, I think a couple of the Austins were as well.
But I'm thinking like the Mark 1, Mark 2 Escorts and things like that, you know, which weren't fiddled with.
Butchered.
Yeah.
So unless they could actually go to somewhere like Brooklands, scan a one there, like they do with the aircraft, you will never see probably modern car kits come back into the 32nd scale into Airfix.
It's a shame you can't.
Third is good, but they're too tiny.
It's a shame you can't take new tech. It's a shame that we haven't got the technology now against the cars of then. Like you say, Gary, if you could have gone and scanned the old 70s cars, 60s cars, 50s cars.
That's what I'm saying. Go to the Brooklands. Most of virtually every British car made is there. Then you go to, I think it's somewhere outside Bedford, is Vauxhall's museum. And they've got everything from their very early first racing cars right the way through to your Viva, your Chevettes, your Cavaliers, whatever they've made in the past.
Yeah.
On the upside, though, we might not be too far away from being able to do things ourselves. I mean, if you think what Michael in Australia is doing currently with photographic generation of resin parts, I mean, if that's doable, if a 3D image can be created from a 1D photograph,
2D,
no. If a 3D model can be generated from a 1D photograph, because it's a one dimension, the photograph, then surely with multiple 1D photographs of multiple angles of a Ford Escort, it shouldn't be on the realms of possibility to create a resin model of a whatever.
Yeah. The only reason I say it's 2D because you've got the length of the thing and the height in the picture.
Yeah, well, you do what I mean.
Say, it's a 2D image on a 1D medium.
Yeah.
I'll show you if we get a chance. I'll show you the pros and cons of that because it was something I played about with today. I've got one of our builds coming up is any Jerry Anderson type vehicle. I wonder who suggested that. So I've got this creature, and it's ideal for bit of scratch building. And what I did was I went to chat. Oh, I'd run out of chances on ChatGPT. I used the Microsoft one instead. It said, "Can you give me an image where this is in a scene?" And if I can find the image, I'll bring it up.
You found one for me as well, PJ.
Yeah. Carry on. Just while I. Oh, here we go. I've got it. Yeah, I'll share it. So this is what GPT,
whatever it's called,
GP
this week came back with. The share window. Share. That's what it came back with. If you wanted to modify it, it even put a nose cone on the front, which it hasn't got one on mine. Replace the missile launcher. Put rockets on. Put thrusters on it as well, and then put it against the background. So that is quite within the realms of possibility with 3D printing to create some of these other parts that are missing off here.
It's very Japanese manga.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. But what I then did was take multiple images, and it didn't do it at all. What it went off and did was a search for the original model, because there's two variations, and try and combine it, and it's nothing. This is nothing like the model that I've got. I took the photos of. So doing a set of 3D plans.
Well, that's something that Michael could probably work to.
Yeah, yeah. So that's if I've stopped sharing now. That's a work in progress. Alrighty. Alrighty then. Question 3. How are we doing for time? We're all right.
Okay.
Have you ever been disappointed by a favourite brand? Gary, I'll let you go first on this.
Right. Oof. That's a tricky one because sometimes it's not necessarily down to the engineering of the kit, it's down to the builder making mistakes. But as I say, there are, as I say, with the great wonders of the internet and YouTube, you can actually now watch reviews of people unboxing the kits, so you can get sort of an idea of what's in the box, and then make the decision: do you really want to go out and spend the hard cash to go and buy the hard plastic yourself? Now you've seen it. Back in the day, back in the 70s and 80s, you bought the box without knowing what was it, how good, how bad it was in the box.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, a lot of this stuff, Airfix was still churning out until the first bankruptcy in the mid 80s, about 83, 84. Some of it was going back to the late 50s and 60s, and they just kept constantly churning out, and all that changed was the box art. And you think, oh, this looks good. It's only when you open the box, it's like, ugh, that's not so brilliant.
I must admit, Gary, I was a big fan of the Matchbox plastic model kits. I think generally speaking, other than people that know, I think they were pretty underrated.
Yeah. They were simpler toolings.
Yeah.
With a bit more detail. Well, I mean by simpler, by basically the part count were lower. You could get equivalent Matchbox to an Airfix kit, and the Airfix kit might have 20 odd extra parts.
Well, the thing that sold me on the Matchbox kits was the fact that you got with a fair few of them, you got a partial diorama with it as well. Because the one thing about making plastic model kits is the fact of it's all right when you're 15 and you've got your own bedroom and you can string them up with fishing line and have them hanging from the ceiling. But when you're a little bit older, and you're limited with space, it's where do you put them? And the Matchbox, if some of the companies now release models with, say, an extra 10, 15 quid, and you got a partial diorama with it, they'd be a lot easier to store than some of them are now. Yeah. But you can be, I mean, disappointed. I think I was very disappointed with that because I love I've made a fair few Harriers over the years, and when Tamiya released theirs, I went out and got it straight away, and it was horrendous. It was awful. It really was.
It's not the only bad one on the market.
No. But that one was particularly bad, and to that point, I hadn't made an awful lot of Tamiya models. But what I can say is the Tamiya models that I'd made prior to that, I'd never had an issue with. Yeah. So to find one that was that bad was a bit of a shock.
Yeah, every company has the odd runt.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't churn out A+ kits year after year after year after year. Yes, Tamiya at the moment, now they're under, since the founders now dead, and they're under a slightly different leadership. They are going back and looking at some of the older toolings and retooling them now. So they're realizing yes, the tools are pretty good condition, but they're realizing, yes, modern market demands a little bit extra.
Well, one of the things I don't understand, Gary, and I know Moz has spoken about this at length, but it's like when they re-release the vintage classics.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, like the Bomb Bug, and sometimes they don't fix the issues that the kits have, and it's such a shame that I don't think it's a huge amount of effort. They could fix problems that were inherent with the original models.
Yeah, the Bomb Bug had two issues. Yes, they fixed the clear parts, but B, they buggered up the tooling a little bit, because there was two different issues. You either had part of the parcel shelf, but you either had the short shot no parcel shelf, or you had the parcel shelf with an extra piece of plastic where they tried to fix the flow things, and it damaged it a little bit, and so it flowed and added a bit of a spur on it that you had to cut off. I actually got one. Moz got the one without the parcel shelf. I got the one with a spur.
Right.
Sort of thing. Yes, I know the kit you're talking about. You talked about the Belvedere 192 with that awful 2-part plastic canopy.
Yeah.
as you said, they did the clear parts on the bomb bug and the Arctic Ostler. They redid those. Why, as Moss says, why on, as I say, as quoted Nicolas Cage out of the thing, why in Zeus's butthole did they not redo the thing? It's a known problem.
If you're a modeler and you've made that,
classic, as I say, I built the vintage classic Clipper last year. You know, this flying boat.
Yeah.
And the glasswork down the side was like chunky, opaque, whatever. So I fitted it all. I looked at it, took one look at it, took a pair of tweezers, knocked it all out, and had to shake it all out and use crystal clear, apart from the Astrodome and the windscreen.
Yeah, my point is that if you have consistently made Airfix models, you will pretty much everyone you speak to will have made the Belvedere or will have encountered the Belvedere, and it just beggars belief that when they did reissue it, they didn't do anything about it, so they were prepared to stick it out again and just keep the myth going. Yeah, the
Rotodyne is supposed to have some play value with the hinges at the back, and they don't work properly. No. You have to try and get them to close up, or leave them partly ajar.
Well, I'm wondering whether they're going to try and sort out the fix of the SRN when that comes out, because the clear roof was always a nightmare to fit.
They may have done so, because I believe it was meant to come out 2 years ago, but I think they've taken their time, because everywhere's been. It's one of these ones like when we got the Jaguar in New Tool. When they did the SRM1, the prototype, small silver one, everybody said, "Why ain't the 4 coming out?" Now,
I managed to pick up an old version, and I kind of dry fitted some of it together, and it was good. It was not going to be good, so I've kept that as an old classic boxed. So,
all right, let's back on track a bit. Laz, have you ever been disappointed by a favourite brand?
It's not a favourite brand, but I've done a Britain's motorbike, and I took it apart. I took the front wheel off, and when I wanted to put it back, I just couldn't. So it was really disappointing. It was anyway difficult to take the front wheel off from the chassis. Yeah. And I painted it nicely, I detailed it nicely. I picked a nice color. And when I wanted to put it back, it just didn't stay. And that shaft where the pin went in, it was really big, so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even glue it back together. So we ended up in the bin. So I was quite upset with that. Martin, I did show that motorbike to Martin, and he loved the color and everything. And he said, "Oh, it's gonna look nice." I said, "Yeah." And I just couldn't fit it back together. I was so upset with it, and I just
it took me an age today. When you talk about things like the any motorcycle or that rotor blade on the helicopter, that they use a specific fastener which is called a hollow rivet.
Yes.
And
they can spread it because it's hollow. It's easy to spread.
Yeah, now that I know what they call it is, now I know what to look for. Hollow rivets. You can get brass versions, so I'm going to get some of them off Amazon. But as a disappointment, you mentioned it earlier on, Laz, the new Matchbox. I had for those that don't know, I'm a massive fan of certain British cars, Escort, MGs, of course the Capri. And I've got an MGB GT, a brand new one from Matchbox, the new releases. And that, just don't take them out of the box because you'll be disappointed with the plastic base.
Yes.
And that was, and you can tell where it's going back and think about it. You're quite right what you said, Bryan, about the earlier Matchbox cars, where there is more. There is. I can't find more definition on the earlier Matchbox ones.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But on these plastic chassis, it just looks like it's plastic flowing into plastic. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, it's like they don't care anymore.
Well, if you also think about, Laz, if you think about when Matchbox were in their prime in the 60s and 70s, look how much scrap metal was knocking about that could be melted down. This country used to manufacture steel. It could reformulate steel because look at all the aircraft that got World War II aircraft that got broken up and repurposed into the steel repurposed. So that's why they probably metal was, in I say, back in the 60s, cheap. It is already available. But now metals are becoming rarer. The pricing, it's a cost point. Plastic's going to be cheaper than metal. So they're doing it for a price point rather than it's not a price point for sale, it's a price point for profit during the manufacture.
The shame is, Gary, I think that if the sad thing is, I think Hot Wheels have suddenly realised that the people that are buying Hot Wheels now are not necessarily children.
No.
So they're tailoring their releases to appeal to the likes of us because they're going with slightly older cars, they're going with slightly more real cars. You know, before it would have probably been an 80-20 split of 80% fantasy cars, 20% real ones. Now, at the moment, I would say it's probably close to the 60-40 real to fantasy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because now Matchbox, I think, Twig, because obviously it's the same, they're owned by the same company.
Yeah.
They've got to go that route too. Because obviously for years and years and years, Hot Wheels have been plastic bases. Because they're keeping to that price point of the 149, 199 a car. If they decided, like they done with some of the moving part Matchbox ones, if they said, actually, we're going to release Matchbox cars, they're going to be metal tops, metal bases, but they're going to be $499.
Yeah,
I don't think people would shy away from them.
Because you're
getting a better product that's going to last longer. Because you think about it, you can't imagine too many of the cars that are being produced today Hot would be because and PJ hit this absolutely 100% when we were talking a couple of weeks ago. It might have been a live on YouTube, it might have been a tavern. He's right in saying that 90% of Hot Wheels that are released today will never leave the bubble wrap, the case that it comes in.
Yeah.
Whereas Matchbox, these ones that have been around that one's been around for 60 years.
Well, as I say, the first Angler came out about 1961.
Yeah, but that model has been around 60 years. That actual Matchbox car has been in existence for about 60 years and it's still going strong. All right, it's been maybe painted a couple of 3 times, but it is still there. Now, those ones that are coming out today, they won't, because it's incredibly difficult. I mean, it used to be the case with the Huskies. Try and get a Husky apart with a plastic base. They were the first ones that really went with the plastic base.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm convinced that if a company like Matchbox decided, actually, you know what, we're going to go back to where we were. We're going to charge a little bit more for it, but we're going to produce a car that's got, that's created properly. That's got, because the other thing with Hot Wheels, which is really weird, if they've got decals down the sides, you tend not to get front and rear lights. If you get front and rear lights, you don't get any other decals. So it's one or t'other. But if you put the price up by a couple of quid, I think they do well.
Yeah. Well, I did see that Ian had pointed out he was disappointed in the Corgi Collectors Club. The steering wheel had fell off.
Yeah.
I'm interested, Ian. Do the new Corgis come with a metal base?
I think they do, PJ. I've got a couple. I'm pretty sure they do.
But what you also got to
I'm
remember,
gonna
it's the
if I brought a Batmobile today, reissued, and it got a plastic base on it, I'd be absolutely distraught.
Because as I say, Corgi now has to work. Corgi does have to work to a price point that Hornby, the parent company, set them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
those model clubs are not cheap. I mean, they range somewhere between. I mean, Ian will know much better because he gets a fair few of them. But there's certainly the cheap end is £25, and they can go up to £40.
Yeah. They're 47 euros in euros. Yeah. 47
Yeah.
euros. They're
So
not
that's a
cheap.
big chunk of change.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah, Hot Wheels are halfway there. They found a new niche with the European cars.
Yeah.
I think
Mattel.
Still applying their same model of let's do 7 different colours with a plastic base.
I'm not a big fan of Hot Wheels, but I must say that lately these Silver Series, I mean, I just bought the Raleigh Silver Series, and they absolutely fantastic. So I think Matchbox now is a bit poor compared what it was before, and I don't know if it's a business point of view that Hot Wheels is more popular, so they put more money into Hot Wheels. Because even if you go to a shop,
Hey, Russ.
what do you see is 10% Matchbox and 90% Hot Wheels. So it's always some shops they have the cheap Matchboxes in blisters. They really, I mean, there is an estate. I think it's a Cadillac or something, and the base plate is actually covering the front and the back as well. So, and there's absolutely no details on it, no decals. So the body itself is metal, but all the front and the back and the base is plastic. It's ridiculous. It's
One of
really
the sad things, actually, Laz, and I know you've had a fair few of them, those Atlas editions that came out, the ones that were reproductions of Corgi before they went to the Corgi Classic,
yeah.
They were great value because they were metal tops, metal bases. They had interiors. They had glasses. I think they were a bit underrated.
The Corgi, the Solido Corgi.
Yeah.
Yeah, not all of them are metal base. Some of them.
Most of them, though.
Yeah. I've got a few. I think I've got about 14 of them, and I think 4 or 5 are plastic base. The Citroen CV2, for example, is plastic base. Most of them are metal based, like the Jag E-Type. Yeah, they're really nice. Some of them's got some factory errors, like it's almost like rust under the paint on the bonnet. Like a little bump.
Yep.
And it's never been played with. So I think it came out from the factory with that defect.
Yeah, it's probably where the casting's done, lads. They're on a metal sprue, like plastic sprues, and where they're cutting them off, they're not rubbing it down. They're just painting straight over it.
It's on the bonnet of a Mercedes 500 SE.
If it had been on the underside, you wouldn't have mattered. But being right in prominent view, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad manufacture.
The Dinkies, the new Dinkies, the reproduction Dinkies with the boxes, they are really nice. But when you handle that and you handle this, you still got a feeling that it's almost like toy-like.
Yeah.
It's too nice or it's too new. I don't know, because I never had a Dinky. I mean, I'm not old enough to have a Dinky toys bought brand new in the 60s. So I don't know how that would feel when you open that box and you take the car out and it's brand new.
That's it.
Yeah. Compared to these ones, the Atlas Dinkies, it's really nice, but it's like it's got some of them's got too much paint on it, and it's like a toy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
I know what
what
you're trying. I know what you're trying to say there, lads. It's got the spirit of Dinky, but it's not got the soul of Dinky.
I couldn't see who just posted that, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, I've got a bit of brain fog at the moment. Yeah, I did mean the Dinky reissue ones, but I've got a couple of the French ones. So I've got like a Renault Dauphine and a Fiat 500 and that kind of thing. And they're lovely. They're lovely little models. And as I say, I think very underrated, and you can pick them up cheaply. But Laz is possibly the person to speak to, because there's a couple of YouTube channels that I watch. There's one called the Diecast Collector, and he's a guy based in Holland that goes around to lots of diecast events. And the amount of European diecast manufacturers now is phenomenal that we don't see unless you're at like the really, really big toy fairs. There's Kaido House. There's hundreds of them, and the detail on those, but you pay a premium. You do pay a premium. I mean, some of them were going like 40-50 quid for a 1/43 car.
Yeah.
So you get what you pay for.
I do like these magazine issues here, because I just got the Fiat 1500. I think I did show you on Friday. They got Eastern Europe. Obviously, in these countries, the Agostini does. I think it's a business deal. That in these countries, obviously, the memories, the feelings are to the Eastern European cars. So we got a lot of Dacia, Lada, Trabant, Warburg, Skoda, all these cars, which you possibly not get in the UK.
Yep.
Because you got the British. If you have a D'Agostini series, you got the British cars. What is a memory lane for you.
Yeah.
So, but they're really nice. I mean, I've got a few of them, and when you look at a Trabant or a Žiguli or a Lada 1500, they look really, really real, realistic. So I feel like I just get the keys and I get into the car.
If you think about it, the largest are based on the old Fiat 126s.
124.
124s with it, yeah. I knew it was one of them.
Yeah.
But Ralph Cooling was posting some pictures of some. I don't think they were Altair, and I'm pretty sure they weren't D'Agostini. There's another brand that I can't think of the name of that are producing these trucks from the late 60s, early 70s. And one of the ones he posted was a Marconi, almost like mobile studio. And it looked very, like the American caravans, the Airstream. It's a truck that looks like it's an Airstream truck, and it looked absolutely phenomenal. Very similar in a lot of ways to the one they've just released on Corgi Club. That Ecos, the Ecos car transporter. Scotch.
We know which one.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, so I think some of these sort of part work companies, and I know John Hatwell collects the American muscle cars. They're all metal, and they're produced to a price point, so it can be done.
Yeah. They know. I mean nowadays, and I in China anyway, or Bangladesh, some of the lorries I bought. There is a series in Hungary, old stocks from the socialist times, Rabo and Tatra and Skoda Lias and stuff like that, IFA, and they're fantastic. They were produced in Bangladesh. Those are produced in Bangladesh, not in China, and they absolutely mint. I mean, the details, the registration plates, the decals with for example, Hungarian text on it. It's top notch.
Well, a bit of good news for you, Laz. You said you sent one to Martin.
Yes, I did. Rabo.
I think I found it.
Yeah.
I think I found it. I showed it to you, didn't I, PJ?
Yeah.
When we went up to the fair.
It's a yellow tow truck.
Yellow truck. Yeah, that's it. I've got it on one side, and what I'll do is next time I'm up with PJ, I'll leave it with him, and next one of your lots that goes over, it can go in there.
I think one of the brands that you did mention there was Siku, and I don't think they've got the depth of age yet to be. Yeah, they go back a while, but not to the extent of Matchbox. You know,
they're about the same time as Welly and
no, sequels. They started in Western Germany. There are sequels from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, okay.
Right.
They're not new. They're not new. You can buy them now in the shop in Blister, which is now new. But you can see, if you see a sequel car with a wheel with a wire, white, like a white tire, you know, white wall tire.
Any of those brands?
Yeah, they just got a very thin white line on the tire. And if you look, it says made in West Germany. So they are late 70s, early 80s, and they are the more expensive than
they're very agricultural now, aren't they? Chicken, like farm vehicles.
They do they're very much like a European Britons. Yeah.
Now they have more farm vehicles than before. Before they had more, civil cars. BMWs, mostly German cars. BMWs, Audi, and then they swapped to some of the French cars as well. But yeah, nowadays, plastic wheels, plastic bases, just like the other companies, really.
The question is, in 10 years, you'll still have 90% of that that's boxed up.
Yeah.
Who's going to want to restore them anyway?
They are not. Yeah, they are no longer toys. And yeah, that's actually a very interesting point, PJ. What we're going to restore in 10, 15 years time? Yeah. I think we're still going to do matchboxes and dinkies and corgis. Because I just watched a video today on Facebook. I can't remember the channel's name. They put a lot of old British, like short videos, like how they were making the diecast cars, how they were painting a mini pink because of a lady. She liked the pink color, and they done it in the morning. So her husband went to work, and by the time he got back, the car was painted pink, so as her nails. And I did see in that video where they showed the Lazi factory, that they were producing 6 million cars at some point of some of the models. Actually, 6 million.
Yeah.
So how many is still around? And it's just one model of 6 million. They had 1-75s. After that, obviously, they had the regular wheels. They had the series number, whatever. So how many millions of cars they produce? Which is lucky for us. Because, I don't know how many. I've got 450 videos on YouTube. So I've done at least 450 cars. But that's not real because I've done many of them outside the channel. So I think I could say easily I've done about 1,500 cars already. And it's just one person restoring cars.
I know Nigel's not online with all, but if you've ever got a question about tractors and units, lorries, trucks, call them what you will, Nigel's got, again, somebody with another fantastic collection. He showed us around a virtual view of his home. And the trucks that he's got are incredible, beautiful.
Can I just say, PJ, looking at those two that were donated by Nigel, the detail on those trucks is simply staggering.
Yeah,
they are amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm amazed that someone didn't sort of put their hand in their pockets because they are stunning.
What I might do is I might have a word with
Carl.
car that's going
Yeah.
to put in a shop window.
Yeah.
With the reserve price on them. Again,
Yeah.
Those vehicles, anybody would be proud to own them vehicles.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move. Again, we've only done about 4 questions. We've only got 20 minutes left. Do you think, we've talked about all the history of some of these brands, that some brands are now overrated or underrated? And I'll just kick this off, going back with the majorettes or the majorettes. I think they're really underrated for the build. I'm not so keen on the fact that some of them got the super fat wheels on them last.
Oh yeah.
You could swap them out with the technology that we've got now.
I did.
But they're really underrated, majorette.
I don't think they are underrated because they are very, very popular in France. First of all, obviously.
Yeah, I'm talking about everywhere, kind of everywhere else. You don't hear the Americans on about them a lot
because they don't have them.
No, yeah, it's fair point.
But I was talking with Mike Aspo, or was it Pete maybe from Old Man's Diecast. They start to appear in America as well, so they start to have, and they now Majorette is producing long carts like Hot Wheels. So I've got Mercedes W123, you know, the older ones from the 70s, and it's got a long car. So they've started to produce those they're not cheap, to be honest with you.
No.
They are here. They are more expensive. The nice ones, they are more expensive than Matchbox or Hot Wheels.
Well, it's like you said to me when you came over here, and you're able to grab a load of Matchbox or whatever that you're going to be able to sell them pretty much straight away over there, because you know you can't get them.
Yes. Yeah. I did a few already.
Yeah. Gary, overrated. Some brands overrated.
Right. Yeah, I've just been sort of while Lazi was talking, I've been thinking, right. There used to be a company owned by Peter Jackson, called, as in Lord of the Rings fame, called Wing Up Wings, which produced beautiful kits in 1/32. When they were in production, they were reasonably priced. Then as soon as it went bust, well, they didn't go bust, they just shut doors. They are now going for 4 or 5 times the original value. Now, going back to value, yes, I spent about just short of £100 on a kit last year from the Phoenix company that came out with rings called Qatari. Now, a lot of people say they're overrated and overpriced, especially when they started bringing out the original Spitfires about 2 years ago. They don't come with an engine. But for an extra, say, £8 to £10, you could go up a little bit in scale to the 124 Spitfire and you had a full build engine. So on a price point, yes, they're overrated price-wise, but they still are good kits. But as I say, it's all depending on how you want to perceive as being overrated. You can have something that's very, very hyped, and when you actually get it, you get it overrated that way. It becomes a damn squib. When people start looking at it, start getting on their workbench and go, "Oh, this ain't as good as they hyped it to be."
In a diecast sphere, I'd say a couple that I would classify as overrated would be your Franklin Mints and your Buragos, because they're sold in much larger scales, much higher details, but you literally have to walk past them for bits to fall off.
Yeah.
and that's disappointing. With regard to underrated, I'll tell you the one that I think is the most underrated is a company called Real Toy. They are producing some absolutely stunning little models. I've got a few. There was a few that came in with someone selling a bunch of Matchbox, and there was a few Real Toys in there, and they're very, very good. With regard to plastic, I think Gary's right. I think your overratedness becomes part of the price point. You know, when someone's selling a kit for 150, 160 quid, you expect a level of detail, and if that doesn't hit the point, then that's when they become overrated. I still think that with regard to like with Airfix, you can't beat them, because when you're actually spending 100 quid on a kit, like my partner did at Christmas with that Flying Dray, the detail on that is wonderful.
Yeah.
So yeah, underrated Real Toy, overrated Franklin Mint and Burago.
Yeah.
I think. Go on, Laz.
No.
No, you go.
I just wanted to say, how funny is it that nowadays, if you go to a shop, you can see two kind of diecast. One is 50 cents to €1, yeah, and then you got 150 to €2, and those are the Matchboxes, Hot Wheels, Motorheads. And the 50 cents to €1, they are like no brand, made in China. That's for the kids to play with. And I think kids nowadays, they still play with the cars we used to play, because the cars we buy now, we'd never open. They stay in the blister.
Yeah.
And there is another brand. I had a few cars before, mostly BMWs and Mercedes and Alfa Romeos, but I can't remember the name of the brand.
Is it Welly?
No, it's something like Real Toy, but it's not. I will go ahead, PJ, and I will try to find that.
Well, as aforementioned, modern day Matchbox, I'm just not sold on at all. Sorry, but one that's I'm not even going to say that these are underrated. I'm going to say these are hard to get hold of. It's the Johnny Lightning cars.
Auto World as well. That's another one.
Yeah, I mean, I love the like Christine models, the Addams Family models. You know, the American TV themed vehicles that Johnny Lightning do. But trying to get hold of them over here is Christ. Good luck. We've got to get through eBay. And I think if we want it, I just had a thought just ran through my head, which is a short journey at the best of times. For those that follow the likes of 3D Bot Maker, who race Hot Wheels, wouldn't it be great if there was a channel that was dedicated to racing 3D vintage vehicles? They probably only do a metre and a half at the best of times, down a very steep slope. But, you know, that'll be fun. But who's going to want to take them out the boxes? Nobody.
Yeah.
I've got the company, New Ray.
Oh, yeah.
New Ray, I think that is very underrated. And they had some nice cars on blister, orange carton. And they had some Alfa Romeo, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagens. Really nice, very cheap, and nobody wanted them. But I think they were really nice. I had at least 10 of them in a package.
Yeah,
and
back in the day, there was another one called Car Armor as well. Car Armor.
Armor. I see a lot.
Their cars are great.
Yeah, I see a lot of them. Look, like this one, for example. I just find. I don't know if you can see. You see these orange cards.
Gotcha.
and they really nice, really nice. And this one, look, was $199. I think it's dollars. And nobody was interested in this because they were really nice. They didn't look like a toy. They really looked like a real car. I'm sorry.
No, you spot on, mate.
Yeah, it's $2. Yeah, $2 American. And they were early 1990s, so at least 36 years old. And there is one here for sale, $33 US.
Well, I do like the fact that Bryan mentioned Barago. I think Barago like 6 or 1.5 dozen the other Bryan.
1990.
Not bad. There's some really good details on some Baragos.
But they're so brittle.
Yeah.
But they're so brittle.
Yeah.
You might as well get a scale, not a scale electric, because they're bloody expensive. I was going to say they're almost like a plastic car, but they are a plastic car.
Mm.
Well, like the E-Type Jags, we sold a few at the toy fair. Literally every one that was there had a wing mirror missing, a broken windscreen wiper, a wheel that was loose, a steering wheel that had come off, or overrider, or an indicator light that was missing. So that every single one of them, I think, with the exception of the one that Andy had, there was a pale blue metallic one, which was stunning. But yeah, you haven't got to do anything to them for them to fail. Luke bought one for me because I was trying to restore a British Racing Green one, and it was missing a screen, it was missing something else. So he bought one down, and the one that he bought down was just about perfect. So I'm not going to bother restoring the other one. Just leave it and don't touch.
Yeah, well said, Ross Meister. That was the other one that I'd forgotten.
Yeah, Meister. Yeah.
Meister's Valleys, yeah, they're quite nice.
What was that comment there?
Vanguards are the same. Vanguards quite often have that problem of bits breaking off.
Again, another brand that looks so good in its box.
You see, for example, this one as well.
Nice.
They got nice tires, real tires and everything. Really nice cars.
That looks like an XJS.
I think it must be, yeah.
It's definitely convertible. It's not an E-Type.
No,
like you said earlier about the E-Type, Laz, being metal underneath. If you actually think about it, on the actual E-Type, the body did wrap round underneath, so they would have to put the metal under its side.
Look at this Mercedes.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Ooh,
see, they're really nice.
Like 280.
I felt like 1971, but these are 1993, 1990, so early 1990s. These cars. I had quite a few of them, and the guy I bought it from, he said, "I take them because I don't want them. Give me £1 each." He really didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, we had some at the show. We had some really big the Jags. I thought they'd fly off the shelf. The big Jags. No.
Well, we didn't sell any. We gave one to Andy because obviously it was fair that Andy had something as well. So Andy took one, but yeah, none of the big ones sold. A few of the sort of 143rd ones sold. There was one guy that bought a load of what I call Morse Jags. The
Mark IIs.
Yeah, the Mark IIs. I think he bought about 6 or 7 of them. But yeah, generally speaking, they just didn't go. But they were corgi.
All right. Well, we've got 5 minutes left. And we haven't got through 10 questions again, so that's brilliant. So thanks for the input from everybody. We'll ask one question to round up. See what we've got left. I know that's the most what the boys are going to say. Do you pay for a model just because of the brand? All right, let's go with that then. Gary,
Go on. What's the question?
are you willing to pay more? Now, this is like clothing, I guess, in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to pay more for a model just because of the brand name?
As I said, yes, because you sometimes it is the only kit of a particular aircraft or a particular ship, particular car. Like back in the beginning of this year, it's the first time it's been done. It's HMS Royal Oak. It's the first time it's been done in any scale. So it's a pioneer kit. So I'm interested in the history of the Oak. What happened to her? Well, or should I say the more infamous history of the Oak. Because back in the 20s, half the crew got court-martialed. And she was infamously sunk while on picket duty in Scupper Flow by a German U-boat. So she has quite a lot of history to her, sort of thing. So as soon as I heard that's coming out, I thought, sod the price, I'm buying it. And that was about £90 for a boat kit, a ship kit.
On the back of that, it's not one of these questions, but something I'm just genuinely interested in. Do you have let's take two well-known brands, for example, Tamiya and Airfix.
Yeah.
Let's say they both go out with a Spitfire. When we go with this,
that's a tricky one.
Is there competition that one tooling is better than the other?
Wrong choice of aircraft, PJ.
Yeah. As I was saying, every man and his dog does a Spitfire.
Yeah. Well, that was
what they call cash cow.
Yeah.
And Airfix Spitfires are pretty much, certainly the last few have been pretty much bulletproof, haven't they?
Apart from the undercarriage.
Yeah.
They are, as I was saying, I've built probably 2-3 iterations of the 48 version. And some of the undercarriages have been quite bloody awful. I've got a more modern one up there. I've got the TR9, which is the 2-seater trainer in 48. And they have modified the undercarriage thing. So when I build it soon, probably May, June time, it'd be interesting to see how much of an improvement they've done. Because that was its weak point of the kit. Everything else on the Spitfire was beautiful, apart from that undercarriage. It was so flimsy and very small attachment point.
So
you know, if basically, as they say with Tamiya, you throw a pot of glue in the box, shake it, and it comes out ready-made. Because they literally fall together Tamiya kits, because they're actually designed by proper engineers.
You know, we had the discussion. Sorry, I'm not ignoring. This is just sparking off a complete direction change that I'm thinking of. We had a discussion about producing 3D parts. I think it might have been in the tavern, it might have been on the QT, I can't remember. Are there any competition laws where if, let's say Airfix bring out a Spitfire first, and then Tamiya bring one out, and they look identical?
Well, they will.
Who owns the rights to it?
The rights belong to the rights to the Spitfire belongs to BAE Systems now through amalgamations of company into one, into another. It's all ended up under one house. Hawkers, Bristols, de Havillands are all now under BAE Systems. So they will sometimes they have to yes, certain historic aircraft come out without licensing problems. Others, like the Americans want a little bit of a fee for licensing, like Lockheed Martin do, which is now part of Boeing.
So this is the actual aircraft company as opposed to
Yes.
a model company we're
It's
talking
the aircraft company. If you're going to put their name in the box, they want their slice of the pie.
Yeah.
That's
The
why
reason,
you said about Airfix with that K2 ambulance. They didn't put Austin on it. Whereas Gecko blatantly avoided branding rights and just went, here's the Austin ambulance. And be damned. Like they had to supposedly Princess Elizabeth figure with theirs as well.
the reason I ask, I've got an alternative reason for asking.
Go on.
When we was talking about reproducing 3D parts and selling them as a business,
Mm-hmm.
the one phrase, so we went replica parts, we couldn't find any on Vinted.
No.
Reproductive parts, we couldn't find any on Vinted. Resto parts, we couldn't find any on Vinted. The one phrase that we never used or thought of was aftermarket parts.
Or aftermarket replacement.
Yeah. And do you know there's a law that says you're not likely to get fined if it's an aftermarket part?
Yeah.
That's the way you kind of get around it.
What you got to remember, PJ, is when these new toolings come out, like certainly I know they did it for the Stalwart, but certain companies will release masking kits, will release 3D printed parts that enhance the look of something, and they seem to get away with it.
Yeah, you're
they're not through Airfix.
You're talking about Edard.
Yeah.
And you've got Edard parts in your Spitfire.
Yeah. So yeah. So in answer to your question, I think yes, there is a little niche there that could be enhanced or used or abused.
Loophole is the word I'm looking for, Bryan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loophole. Yeah. Laz, sorry, we kind of left you.
Yeah, that's exactly what you mean, Russ. Yeah, OEM, overall making modification, or what they used to call pattern parts.
Yeah, you can't. I guess it's hard to prove in a court of law because you could effectively make. The history behind this is that we started to produce a bunch of replacement parts, and I'll go back to this scenario back in the I'm going to say it's the 80s, and somebody started to reproduce Doc Martin boots. This has got nothing to do with anything we do. But they had to show so many changes compared to the original Doc Martin boots. So they could get away with making the eye hole a little bit smaller. They could just fit it a little bit closer. This kind of, small details. But what you could do effectively is if you've got anything about you can use Tinkercad, and if I can do it, anybody can do it, I swear to God.
Yeah.
If you can make that part up and you can come up with a plan for that part that you've got on Tinkercad, oh boy, you can get away with blue murder.
You say about licensing again, sort of going back to Airfix. When they released the F-35B Lightning II, it said on the side of the box, under license from Lockheed Martin. It had a silver sticker on the side of the box.
Yeah.
So they couldn't. There's no way they could have used that aircraft without permission. Whereas something like a Spitfire, A, it's an historical, so B, the file's all declassified now, so they're ready, available to anybody. You could literally go on the internet if you wanted to build your own replica Spitfire and bring up all the blueprints now. They're there.
One other little aside as well, PJ, with regard to, and this is the only example I can give. If you've got an Airfix kit and you decide to go out and buy an Eduard aftermarket thing, doesn't matter what it is,
for example,
whatever it is, Airfix are smart enough to know that it is not in their interest to go after them for making something for their model kit, because invariably they want to keep people modeling. And if what that other person is producing enhances the model to such an extent that somebody's prepared to pay 100 quid for a kit and then 15 quid for an add-on, then they're not the person that's not going to buy the next Airfix kit. So they would be shooting themselves in the foot, I think. That's just personal opinion.
Yeah, because Airfix is cottoned on now. I think with their decal manufacturer, Cartograph in Italy, they are actually now producing masking sets for the canopies. Like the 109 came with one it came with a partial one in the kit, but they also sold a more enhanced one for £10, like that. You can get one for the Lysander, you can get one for the Stalwart, you can get one for the Chinook, Sea King, things like that. The new Junkers is going to have one because it's got a lot of glass on it.
I mean, that's an interesting point that Russ has brought up about OEM. If you don't know what OEM means, it means original equipment manufacturer.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I don't know whether Lazi's got it there, but Laz asked me if I would print him the Safari luggage that fits on top of the Land Rover. And I found a file on Yegi or whatever it was, doesn't matter what it was. And I printed it off, and it was in PLA. And this is how research and development goes. You print it off, and you've got no. When I did the original, but you've got no stud in the middle. You know, the post that fits into. If you know your diecast, on top of the Land Rover Safari, there's a post hole that the luggage fits into.
Yep.
The replacement part has got no post in it.
So,
So I went onto Tinkercad, opened up the file, and added a post to it. So all of a sudden, it's different to the 3D printer's design. So that gets around that. It's not resin printed, so that gets around that. And it's these little tweaks that make it slightly different.
But this is not a problem that's centered around modeling. If you look at the sort of wider sphere, you know, there's a company called German and Swedish Car Parts. They produce bits, or they sell bits for BMWs, Volkswagens, Audis, Volvos, Saabs, all that kind of thing. Now, they are not original, but they do a job. And some of those companies are quite litigious, particularly BMW. Now, if anyone was going to get prosecuted, you'd like to think that it would be BMW going after a company that's producing a replacement ECU for a BMW M3. You know, it's so in the great scheme of things, I think a plastic add-on for a Matchbox toy that was sold 60 years ago is pretty, I would say, pretty low beer on the let's do something about this front. Because the other thing is, you're keeping those cars in existence.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
personally, I wouldn't worry about it.
I mean, Ian's got a point. Surely replica parts would be the way to go, as that can't be an infringement on copyright. Now,
Oof.
we sat there the other night. I can't remember who it was I was talking to. There were several of us. And we went on to Vinted.
It's the
And
tap.
I looked for, it was in the tap, yeah. I looked for replica. There's about 7 different terminologies for, or synonyms of replica.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing there at all. And I found out eventually, Vinted don't allow things like replica. We attach these words to it.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't allow it.
I think
they're out of it.
they use the word counterfeit.
Counterfeit's another one, yeah.
Yeah, they're not allowed to.
Just sell them as replacement parts.
You can't use replacement. You can't use replica. Go and have a look. Have a look for. Trust me on this. I did a bit of research on it. Can you use the word replica on Vinted? Or one of the other.
So what about a replica football shirt?
Yeah.
Well, they're not illegal.
No.
Oh yeah. You try. Have a look for replica. I'm just using replica 3D printed parts as a reference. Yeah. And they've added it into their policy that you can't do it.
Well, in that case, then I think you advertise it as 6 pipes for the Matchbox pipe truck, and you don't mention replica.
Well, like I say, you can get away with that. You can get, I think, according to what I read, aftermarket. It's an aftermarket part.
Yeah, or PJ, aftermarket enhancement part. Yeah.
It's almost like if you follow. I'm a big fan of this Matt's. The guy that's got the argument, I'm going with Bugatti. Matt Armstrong. Matt Armstrong, thank you, Gary.
Yeah.
And he's got around certain parts by having a aftermarket exhaust.
Well, he does that with cars.
Yeah.
But you're talking about where he's had to replace Bugatti parts. He's peeled the label off the Bugatti part and found it's a Fiat part or a Vauxhall part, Volvo part.
Well, the starter motor was off an Audi,
price.
wasn't it? The starter motor was off an Audi TT or something.
Yeah, Audi Q car, will it, or something like that? Yeah.
I mean, it's something like the starter motor is a VW.
Yeah. Oh, Audi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, Bugatti's owned by Volkswagen.
Sorry, lads, I left you in the lurch a bit there. The question was I went off on one a bit there.
No, the answer is no, because I don't care if a car I like isn't Memphis, or if I like the car. And I agree with Nigel when he said, once the trader told me that if you like it, buy it, if don't, leave it. That it doesn't matter who made it. And I agree with that. If I do like the car and it looks nice, I don't care if it's Rallies or Play Art or whatever. If it looks nice, it looks nice, isn't it? It doesn't matter who made it.
It was interesting. I saw that post. I saw that comment that. Let's just bring this back up. For saying it was, I thought we were going to struggle for a minute. I'll just bring this back up. As one trader once said to me at Donington, we used to have, back in the day, outside Donington Museum / racetrack, there was what we used to call Donington Market. It was the biggest market outside of Europe in the UK. And it was huge bloody marketplace. Sunday afternoons or Saturday afternoons, Nigel corrupt me one way or the other. And you had a lot of Asians selling leather motorbike jackets. All right. And they were falsely branded. And my mum brought me one for my birthday. Because I was a bit of a metalhead, I wanted a leather jacket. And we brought one, and we walked away, and she found a stitching issue with it. And we went and stood back in front of this bloody store for at least an hour saying, don't buy anything off here. Don't buy anything off here. She was adamant she was going to get a replacement for it. And she did, bless her heart. But they were selling left, right. And this store was stacked with leather motorbike jackets. All different brands. But side story. What was Ian saying? We'll just round off with what Ian's saying. Political correctness gone mad. What Tommy does model supplies used to sell his split. I don't know whether he's actually got a full license with Mattel. That's the question. Ian.
Not in a million years. Not in a million years. I would bet my house on that. There is no way Mattel have said this bloke in Leicester's making replacement parts for model cars. Yeah, we'll give him a license. No way. No way.
Funny enough, Mattel were in Leicester originally.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, before we say our goodbyes, as a parting gift, when me and Bryan can sort it out, I asked Bryan if he could send me a leaflet that Martin had with all his tyre sizes on it. And what we'll do... Found it, thank you, sir. What I'd like to do is put that up for everybody to be able to download on the Facebook page.
Yeah. I'm sure it either he sends you one or even scans it in and emails it to you.
Brian's got the original.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I'm just saying for convenience, save postage, and you know it's going to get there in one piece. Scan an email.
Yeah. So Martin had a great leaflet with all the tyre size on it, and I will recommend, as a side note to that, if you can get one of the old Helix stencils, Helix, Helix, there you go.
I will be scanning that tomorrow, and it will go up on the Facebook group.
Even better.
Get yourself an Helix template if it's still available, and they fit the template. The temp. I
know what you're trying to say. Get one of those Helix circle tools.
Yeah.
That you used to get in the math sets, things like that.
Yeah.
You have different size circles that you could just draw around for draftsmen.
Yeah. So you can get from us as a parting gift from Martin. We'll post the tyre sizes. Get yourself one of the templates. It's a couple of quid, and hopefully that will help a lot of people out. They've been asking about tyre sizes and stuff like that. So there you go. Let's. Donny Market was closed down because of counterfeit stuff. the irony behind that.
Well, as I say, with the best thing, I think it's sometime sort of September last year. We went over to North Weald Airfield to the market there, and after perfume on there was knockoff.
Yeah. It was a rough place to go around, but it was brilliant as well. Anyway. There we go. So we're going to struggle a bit. It's 10:20, and my thanks to the boys as always. To Gary from Gremlin's Modelling Mayhem. Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
Thank you to Laz from Lazi Collectables.
You're welcome, DJ.
And thank you to Bryan from Bryan's Model Workshops. Please sign up to the boys. You can find their YouTube channels. And also, we're only 5 short of 200 on this channel. Please subscribe. I'd love to change the word to follow because it doesn't cost anybody anything. Please just help us get
Please press the thumbs up button.
and click the thumbs up button. And when that encourages us to come back in 2 weeks' time and do it all over again. And it helps people find us. It's more about the algorithm than it's about making money. The more people get involved, the more information we can share, the better, that kind of stuff.
And the wider it gets spread.
And the wiser it gets spread, the boys give them their time freely, which is much appreciated. And we love you all.
Look at it this way: one more of us, one less of them.
Yeah, more of us, one less of them. All right. So it's PJ sign off, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Good
See you
night.
later, boys. Cheers.
Cheers.